In keeping the last time we met very briefly, we spoke about the idea that my thoughts don't mean anything. Tied into that idea or concept or teaching is an observation that we've made at our center repeatedly and almost without fail, and that is that every single individual that comes to see us comes with an enormous addiction to victim. Now, what does an addiction to victim mean? Addiction to victim means that finding myself, seeing myself, perceiving myself as a victim unleashes a feeling. That feeling is caused by a complex mixture, cocktail, if you will, of biochemicals. So every time I have a victim experience or a victim thought, I'm sending biochemicals into my body. I am addicted to those biochemicals. In other words, if I do not continue to see myself as a victim, my body will start screaming and saying, where is it? We need it. And then I'll have a victim thought, which is invariably justified. Having spent a little time on Facebook this morning, I was struck by the number of postings which could only be labeled as victim postings. And the interesting thing about that is that as soon as there's a victim posting, there's 1, 2, 3, 15, 20 comments of people that support the victim position and that state how they too have been victimized and how they understand how the victim in the original story must feel, etc. And clearly, it must be absolutely abundantly clear that there's no way out of victim by agreeing with the victim position. The only way out of victim, from my point of view and from our teaching point of view at the center, is to recognize A, that it's impossible to be a victim, and that's a stretch because that means that I have to take 100% responsibility for everything that I have in my life, 100% responsibility for everything that ever happened in my life. And that's very tough, because we're not brought up to think that way. We're brought up to think, to say, he did this to me and that's why I feel this way. Or she behaved in a certain way and that's why I turned out the way I am. To wind the clock back and say from day zero, I am going to take 100% accountability, responsibility for everything, is tough. It's a difficult decision. And all of us, make no mistake, but all of us have a victim position. All of us walk around blaming. All of us have people that have done things to us. And the radical forgiveness that we talk about at our center and that we practice is the radical forgiveness that recognizing that whatever I think you did to me had no effect. Whatever I think you did to me had no effect on who I truly am. So what we do, we reverse cause and effect. Where the normal thinking of the world states that the world is the cause and I am the effect. If my parents had been differently, I would feel differently. If the political situation were different, I would feel different. If the weather was better, I would feel different. What we teach is the other way around. That how I feel comes from within me. And once I decide that my one purpose and my only purpose is to be happy, then guess what? The world appears to be a happy place. The weather no longer has any effect at all. I welcome rain, I welcome snow, I welcome sun. In other words, I begin to welcome everything that comes into my life. And that's a huge shift from welcoming, which came originally from blame, where I welcome nothing, I would try to resist and fight everything, to welcoming everything, absolutely everything into my life as a gift. And we'll talk more about that on another occasion. Thank you.